So good morning, everybody. It's 8:50 in the morning, and I need a Red Bull to get going. We need to bring the bull market back, and let's make it a Red Bull, so that gives us wings. Anyway, that's the ad. Thank you, everybody. Yeah, so Truflation, inflation, you know, for us, why did I get into this, right? Inflation's kind of a big thing. It started off no inflation, then it was only transitory, and now it's here, and we believe inflation's structural. We're going to be dealing with inflation on an ongoing basis. You know, whilst the Fed is trying to bring back Volcker, the days of Volcker have changed. It's no longer 1970. And the reason why we got into inflation was because the way inflation is calculated today by the different bodies and bureaus and departments is over 100 years old. This was pre-electricity in every household. You know, this is pre-mobile phones, etc. And so how do we provide the right tools, the right infrastructure, and the right scale to be able to track all of these real-world pricing information and bring that to the Web3 community and the developers that are building out assets that require real-world pricing? And so that's what we're doing. You know, we actually think inflation is now at a point where it's priced in. And so we're actually happy to bring out dashboards. Now, I don't know, did anybody see the announcement yesterday? Bank of England, they just announced another round of quantitative easing. So inflation is going to be here for a more permanent thing. That has benefits, but it has big disadvantages for people that have tried to save money. And these interest rates are live today. You can go to the dashboard, app.trueflation.com, and see what inflation is in the US and in the UK. So this work hasn't happened overnight. We've been working heavily and building out a large repository of sources that we can go to pull on a daily basis information across 18 million items that we track. So we track price movements across 18 million items on a daily basis. We've built out 6 different categories, and we build sub-indexes associated with that. Because the economic information wrapped into a CPI or a consumer price index has so many different subcategories that we've built out a number of sub-indexes associated with that. So you have like food is an important part, and then you have food at home that you buy at a grocery store. You have food when you go out and dine. You have transportation. Do I take a plane? Do I take a car? Do I go in a bus? And then in a car, is it a commercial car? Is it a private car? Is it a used car? Is it a new car? How do we then bring all of those indexes together under one category? And then over time, we will then go into deeper and deeper capabilities where you can then click, get further information down to the sort of more granular price detail and price variations as it relates to a certain nation, or even maybe a certain district further down the road. But we launched those thanks to Chainlink and in partnership with Chainlink across 4 different blockchains. So today, we have Polygon developers building lottery prediction markets. We have lottery in Latin America, where they're using our indexes to build out lottery tickets. We have prediction markets building on the Ethereum chain. And on Binance chain, we have derivatives being built out using some of our indexes. So lots of different use cases that are happening. And today, we're really happy to be working with some of the foremost leaders that are bringing more real-world data on-chain. So not only are we bringing commodities pricing on-chain, precious metals, and other economic sentiment data, we're working together with companies like Hyphen that actually capture particles in the air, have that cryptographically verified, and help them with getting that embedded as indicators, as signs to build out newer, innovative products that can be used in ESG, can be used in green bonds issuance, etc. Climate data really matters to the supply of commodities. That impacts the price of commodities. If you have great weather, you have lots of coffee, that means the price of coffee bean comes down. How does that get then impacted with the price of oil? So all of these indicators help us get better into a more real-time prediction of what price changes will be. Not only daily, how do we get to more a real-time basis? And then number two is how do we make sure that these are always verifiable and immutable? That's what we've been focusing on, and how do we make this focus? How do we focus on this, and how do we work with you and make it easier for smart contract developers across those 4 blockchains, soon 5, 6, who knows how many, to discover an Oracle service that you can use, or an index that you can use in a product you want to build. And so from that perspective, we're building a marketplace. This is going live today, Thursday. Oh, is today Thursday? Today's Wednesday? Thursday, right? Thanks. So yeah, we're launching the marketplace today on Thursday, so you can go to that website, you'll see the marketplace. It will help you discover. Not only will it help you discover, you can connect your wallet and you can use payment mechanisms. You'll be able to then have a strip of code, you'll have an API key that gives you access to that data set that you can then embed in your service, in your own prediction calculation, in your prediction market, in your lottery ticket that you're building. So it makes it very easy for developers to pick up and run with these data sets. And that can be a unique index, that can be a whole bucket of indexes, and then you can change the start dates of those indexes so that you can customize it based on the product that you're trying to build. And we're not only excited to do that, what we're really excited, and this is an alpha, this isn't quite ready yet, but we want to be able to allow everybody to calculate their own inflation. We all have different expenses. We all spend money slightly differently. Each of those elements have a different price change over the course of a year. How do we identify what that is? How could we loop into here your credit card statement that actually breaks down how you're spending your money using your credit card? How do we take that, include that into, import that into the personal calculator so that you can then identify your own personal inflation calculator? And then I will leave it up to your imagination how you can use that for your own purposes and your benefits. But then ultimately, you know what you need to do to hedge yourself against losing the purchasing power that you do, in this case, 9.6% if it affects you, and what that equates into dollars, and maybe what products you could get to help yourself protect against that. So all of this looks in a funky architecture. I won't go too much into this, but we have multiple databases that we use to aggregate the different categories. We then work with the different oracles, and we're partnering with 2 or 3 leading companies in the Chainlink ecosystem. So we're talking with Quill, and I think announcement goes out today, as well as with Space and Time, to really help us with decentralizing our database architecture. The storage, on the one hand, and then actually the architecture and the processing of this data. At the moment, the recall rates are pretty high, and so we're trying to sort of have it a bit more centralized. So we're working on the bridge between centralized and decentralized capabilities that Sergey was talking about yesterday. And we're really excited to be working with the group at Chainlink to be able to really make this a reality and build a modern, 3.0 architecture that people can use with a nice user interface that people can interact with. And I think that's really important, and that's what we need to help grow this. We've got a number of tools that we're working on, so we're trying to do forecasting. We're talking to ChainML. I don't know, they're another Chainlink company. So this ecosystem is really beginning to grow, and we're really trying to work together to scale that up. But not only are we working on our own to build a better infrastructure, we're looking to work with partners, with people, developers, that are going to build out services on top of the data that we're providing. We have a number of companies that are working here. You've got Nuon, which is launching today, by the way. Go to nuon.fi. It is a inflation-protected stablecoin. So it's over-collateralized, and it's basically providing inflation protection. So it's the dollar plus minus inflation. Inflation does go down. If we enter into a deflationary environment, then it goes down, and hence the minus I mentioned. But those are examples. Miner token is doing the same. They're using mined assets, so from a physical mine, not from the mines that we know and think of in the Web3 world, but they're actually using gold from a gold mine out of Australia to use as their backing. I mentioned the lottery tickets. So you've got a lot of Duet. They're building. So I don't know, remember yesterday, Sergey had his slide with $60 trillion industry, which is the derivatives market. Where and how do we bring that market on-chain? What does that look like? Where do you source pricing information for these derivatives? What do you build these derivatives on? And so we believe that actually, with the commodity pricing that we're bringing online, with the precious metals, as well as with the other real-world assets, can we build derivatives on-chain based on the data that we provide? That is a $60 trillion industry that needs to go online, and we can build those marketplaces, exchanges, and Duet Protocol is one of them that has been working on the Binance chain to help make that possible. So there are a lot of opportunities here to work with this data and then actually build out products that can help people hedge themselves against price changes in the commodities that we need on a day-to-day basis, from coffee to grain to dairy to fuel to gasoline to whatever we want and whatever we need in order to get through our carbonated selves. So thank you. We're not only building and asking to work with you, we're happy to further our partnership with Chainlink, and we're supporting their hackathon at the end of, I think it's in the fall 2022, so coming up around the corner, so I think next month. And so please help us develop and build on it. Give us your ideas. We'd love to help promote those ideas and work with Chainlink to help give the visibility and convert it into reality and real-world products. So a lot of the companies you saw in the previous slide, they actually came out of, some of them came out of the hackathon, and so I can't go back. So anyway, no, maybe. Yeah, so the Haptic DAO came out, and they're here. I don't know if you've seen them, but they worked on the Truflation. They came out of the hackathon, and they're now actually a real-world product. Inflado, they came out of the hackathon. They're going live next month in Latin America. Plation is a prediction market, came out of the hackathon. So all of these are now becoming reality and actually building real-world products that can be used, and who knows where they will go. So thank you very much, and yeah, check it out, app.trueflation.com, follow us on Twitter, and we have a very engaged community. We help you navigate some of the confusions, and we want more Web3 tooling for a modern architecture, for helping address the issues that we have across the economy. So thank you very much, and yeah, check us out, please. Thank you.